My wife and I, we have not told our 3-year-old daughter that we have together. Remember, we're a blended home. She had 4, I had 6, and then we had our precious Peanut. So it's a yours, mine, and ours situation. She's well loved by all the kids, being the youngest, but not just because she's the youngest, because she blends those children together, and she calls them her best friends, her special friends, and they all get along with her very well, and they love her dearly. Little Peanut, we call her Little Peanut. Little Peanut is an exceptional child. She's bright. She's learning to self-regulate. She can play for hours by herself and be totally happy. She's had to adjust with children going back and forth between 2 different homes. You've got my children that go back to their moms, and my wife's children that go back to their dads, and back and forth. And so as a result, there's times, long sections of time where it's just Peanut. And, we've got our 2 oldest that live with us, my 2 oldest that live with us. But again, there's still times where it's just precious Peanut. And she's just an unusual child. Several of the reasons are because we have, when we left Independent Fundamental Baptists, we made a vow that we would never spank our child. We just mutually, it wasn't even an argument. It's like, we're not striking this child. We don't allow spanking in our home at all, actually. I used to be that man that struck my children, and I've openly confessed that to my children because it's wrong. It's twisting of the scriptures to be able to say that it's okay to spank a child. I'm actually doing a study on that, and one day when I'm ready, I might share that. But what I want to share today is something that I honestly have wondered, should I even share it, because I don't want to trigger a storm. But you know what? I don't care. I'm going to share my heart because I'm deconstructing. I'm just sharing my journey. You can come and join me, or you can say I don't want to be a part of it, and that's okay. Because I don't have to be right to be righteous, and neither do you. Remember that. We do not have to be right to be righteous. So, we have not told precious Peanut about hell. She's 3 years old, and she does not know about hell. We've not told her that she's a sinner and that she deserves hell. Because remember, when I was a child, if you've followed me long enough, you'll remember that I was told constantly that I am a sinner, that all I deserve is hell and God's judgment. And each time I was beat, I was told that, well, not each time, because so many times I was beaten in anger, but many times when I was beaten, Ben, you have sinned. And because you have sinned, we have to spank you, we have to discipline you and drive that sin from you. I, in turn, when I first became a father, the first few years of my marriage, 9 years of my marriage, I did the same thing. When my ex-wife, when she left me, that began the journey of where I am today to realize, wow, this is wrong. Elena Rose is such a loved child, and she knows she's loved. That's one of the beautiful parts about all of this, is she knows that she is loved. She knows that Jesus loves her. She knows that her siblings love her, and she just loves everybody. That's all she knows to do is love. She loves to share her joy. She loves to get smiles. She's so gentle to even little bugs. She doesn't want to run and squash them or squish them. She just has a gentle soul. And a lot of that is because of how she's been raised. Doesn't mean we're anything special. It's just that we made a choice to raise her differently than how our previous children and our previous marriages were raised. In my previous marriage, I taught, and my wife also was taught, because she came out of the IFB also, that we need to break our children's will. And we both were very hard on our children. We spanked them and we beat them and we bruised them on their bottoms, and we thought it was righteous to do that. My wife, her ex actually did the severe discipline, and she would not bruise the children. She would not smack them the way he did, and she was never okay with it. And he was brutal to the children. I know I've repented. I know I've made it right to my children. All of them. And I know I've been forgiven. But I still carry that burden, that sorrow. Obviously, I can't cling to that and hold on to what I did, because I know I'm forgiven. And God says that the forgiveness is as far as the east is from the west. My son just said last night, I can handle boot camp. He's joined the Marine Corps. So I can handle boot camp. Remember how you guys beat me and treated me when I was a kid? And I looked at him and said, son, I'm very proud of you for being able to tell me that to my face, because you know that it was wrong what I did. He says, no, Dad, you're different, but I got to talk about it sometimes. I said, oh, that's okay. I said, it's your story. And I said, what I did was abhorrent. It was abuse. There's no other way to put it. Today I was sitting with my precious Peanut, and she looked up at me and she goes, Dad. She goes, Daddy, I love you. And I looked over at her as we're watching the fountain in my new fish pond I'm building, and I said, oh, sweetie, I love you too. And I said, do you know that Jesus loves you? She goes, oh, yes. I know that Jesus loves me. You see, she's 3 years old. She's innocent. She's in her innocence. It is not my job to put the fear of God in her. It's my job to love her, to guide her, to shelter her, protect her, all my children. That's what the rod is talking about. Guiding, directing. Shepherds are gentle. They're not hard. They're not brutal. They're not mean. They're gentle. They're patient. They're kind. They're loving. They're long-suffering. How did we get in Christianity from that to twisting the scriptures so much that we have justified harming our children? And it is documented. It is a proven fact. Over 50 years of research and study has proven that spanking, beating a child, alters their growth, changes their perspective, and it adjusts them even to their molecular level. And yet, we cling to it. We cling to it because it's all we know to do, but we cling to it because it's the easy way out. How did we get from Jesus saying, "Suffer the little children to come unto me"? How do we get from that to scaring our children into heaven, so to speak? And we tell them that all they deserve is hell, that they're sinners, and that they're going to die and go to hell if they don't accept Jesus. And so these children at a young age, out of fear, accept Jesus. I've heard of so many conversions where children got saved at 3 and 4 and 5 years of age, or accepted Christ, and they're called Christians. But then as they get older, I have noticed every single one of them, I realized, I don't know. I have images in my mind of individuals right now that supposedly got saved at that young age. And honestly, I don't know if they truly did or not. I know I made a conversion at confession or conversion experience when I was 5. Then I did it again, I think around 8, and then I did it around 11 and 12 and 13 and 15 and 17 and 18, and I got saved so many times I lost track. Which it's interesting. When I went to Bible college, so many kids got resaved. They got saved again and baptized again. So I've been baptized like 6 times. I don't know. I've lost track. We've cheapened it because we've turned it into a fear. So I am not the least bit regretful that I have not told my little precious Peanut anything about hell or sin yet. But boy, does she know she's loved. We teach her how to breathe through when she has a meltdown. We teach her how to calm herself. We teach her how to be kind and share. I mean, she has meltdowns and she'll scream. But already at a young age, she naturally will come and say, "I'm sorry, Daddy. I'm sorry, Mommy." Sometimes it's hours later. Sometimes, I mean, there's been a couple times, it's not often, but she's had meltdowns that have lasted an hour. Most of her meltdowns are directly connected to her exhaustion level. Because that girl goes, oh my word, Energizer Bunny could not keep up. She is a little mini me. We all laugh about it. Her imagination is just unbelievably amazing. And there's no fear. She's not afraid of the boogie monster. She's not afraid of nothing. Breaking the chains starts with things like this. Stop scaring your children into heaven. Because let's just face it, most of these children do not know Christ. Most of these children do not know Jesus. They know a religion. Oh my word, they know a religion. But they don't know Christ. That's becoming more and more apparent to me in my deconstruction and my ponderings. How many of these individuals actually know Christ? I don't know. All I need to worry about is me, myself, and I. And that's a full-time job. But I just want to share that. I don't know when we're going to begin to tell her about sin. I honestly don't know yet. My wife and I haven't discussed that's the next step. But we tell her about Jesus. We tell her about Jesus' love. We tell her about the fruit of the Spirit. We tell her about loving our neighbor. We tell her about loving our enemies. Being kind to everyone. Little Peanut doesn't look at anybody of different race, color, anything in an inappropriate, a different way. Everyone's just awesome to her. Everyone's her friend. We can all learn from Peanut. We can learn a lot from Peanut. So those are my thoughts on that. Felt led to share that tonight, and would love your input on that, your comments on that. Tell me what you think.